Cool. And I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna just make another notes thing like I did yesterday, and I'm just gonna make up problems on the spot because I know what I put on that on your test. Let's see. Oh, I don't even have that up. No, I don't want to do that. Let me open it up real quick, y'all. My apologies. Okie dokie. It's showing the presentation. Cool. And then, all right, I'm gonna open up our notes thingamabob. Where is it? Don't need that, dude. All right, so this is just gonna be a real easy review. Come back and check it out when you're working the review if you want to. We're gonna cover some vocab because I think I put like 2 questions over vocab on that test out of 10, which is like literally, you just need to know a couple of words, fill in the blank, super easy. So this is review for unit 1. Again, this is gonna be y'all's second major grade. I'm literally in a meeting right now. Somebody knocking on my door. No problem. All right. Sorry. I wish I could do. Was there a way, like y'all saw my goofy butt on that video the other day, and you saw the presentation? How do I do that? That's all. Well, I'm not gonna go much time on it. When y'all can see what I'm writing right now, right? Like, I mean, can you see my? You can see I just wrote quiz 2.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna worry about it. If y'all have questions as I'm going through, that means I cannot see the chat. All I can see is literally this board where I'm writing my, gonna write the examples, okay? So if y'all have a question, speak up and stop me. I won't think it's rude. If I'm going too fast or you didn't hear something, just interrupt me, okay? So review for unit 2. I know for sure you're gonna wanna know your vocab. And specifically, y'all got to think back to everything we've covered. So if we were on Schoology, y'all do remember, oh, that's over. Okay, here we go. On Schoology, I gave you your vocab with all the definitions of stuff in the folder. It's like one of the very first things, I think. Didn't I? Give it to you? Parent functions, notes. Yeah, all right, so whenever you go back to the very first thing we talked about, which was parent functions, your unit 1 vocab is in there. Since you guys are in this video and any of the other of the lucky students that actually go and pay attention, I'm gonna highlight for you which ones you should know. You should know domain. I mean, obviously, y'all known that forever. So domain is which values, if we're talking about a graph.
X values.
X values, that's all you really need to know. Don't worry about those. Inverse function, I do need you to know inverse function because we're gonna do some examples with that. Just remember, first off, the inverse function is that it'll be f with a little -1 exponent of x, but we don't read it that way. You just say it's the inverse of f of x, but that -1 is the notation for it. And also, we'll do those examples. What's the ones that I think y'all are gonna use? Okay, odd and even. Did you guys go and watch that video? I know some of y'all were in it or with me for the meet, but the odd and even functions, y'all need to know the definitions like I used in the notes I posted. So I'll rewrite those right now. Transformations you need to know. Composition, okay? So let's go over those real quick for your vocab. Oh, and what a parent function is. So parent function came up on the first quiz. That's why I'm asking it again. All right. Ew, why does it look like that? I don't like that at all. Does anybody remember what parent function means? Is that guy touching it? Anybody at all? I am probably going to tell y'all. You need to go back and look at quiz 1 where you submitted it and look at your answers. Why in the hell are they in spots like that?
Does it mean no changes have been done? Function?
Yay! Who was that? Because I can't see. Was that Kevin? Jacob? Who was that?
That was me, Jacob.
Jacob, good job, son. All right, so you're going to need to know parent functions. Did y'all hear Jacob? If you didn't, ask him now, because I'm not saying it. I mean it. If y'all want to know, you better ask him. Say, yo, Jacob, bro, will you tell me one more time what it means? Okay, Jacob, if they don't ask you, don't tell them nothing. You be typing it, don't type it for them either. So parent function is one that you will need to know. And it is straight up just the definition. So go back and look at what quiz 1 said about parent function and you'll be fine. You need to know odd and even. So for odd functions, we looked at this yesterday. Let me see, I could open up, that didn't work probably. And this is also the notes that you guys have on Schoology. I put those out there. But basically we're talking about these pieces right here. Your even functions. Ooh, not even that. Oh yeah. Even functions, how they reflect, and the odd function, where they're both symmetric, you need to know that. And you need to know their definitions. So for even functions, remember, we would have f of x, right? And then if I put in a negative x, I would still have f of x. Basically, the only thing that changed was my x value, right? If positive x was at this y, negative x is at this y. The y's are the same, but the x changed signs. So that led us to this definition right here. Let me go in red so y'all can hopefully see it. So for an even function, the definition is what I just boxed in red. So you guys will need to be able to type that, but it's just f parenthesis negative x, close parenthesis equals f parenthesis x, close parenthesis. So I'm gonna add that to what we're doing right now. For odd, or that was for even. For odd functions, same kind of deal, okay? If you were in yesterday, if you watched the video yesterday, for our even functions, like I just said, we changed the sign on the x value, the y stays the same. Can anybody remind me what happened with the odd functions? Not Jacob? Anybody?
All the signs change.
Very good, very good, very good. So my x is going to change and my y is going to change, because remember, to make that one, it was a rotation, so you had to flip over both of your axes. Okay, so for odd functions, 2 things to know. You're going to, if you're proving algebraically, remember we had 2 different methods. So if you're proving it algebraically, this is your definition. And this is something that you, wink, wink, cough, cough, may have to type on the test. F of x is equal to, f of negative x is equal to, for odd functions, we changed every single sign. So the way that looks whenever you're writing it in notation was what we were just looking at on the notes. If I plug in a negative x, then that means I'm changing all of the signs. So we just put the negative sign right out here in the front, okay? Because that means change all of the signs that were on the original f of x. Hopefully y'all follow that. If it's in the front, that means it's like you're gonna distribute it to everybody. Change every single sign, okay? So f of negative x would be the same as the opposite, or changing everything in whatever your original function was, okay? Again, I can't be more like blatant. That is a fill in the blank answer on your quiz, okay? The other thing that you need to know about odd functions is, where is their symmetry? Does symmetry have 2 m's or 1? Oh, why does that look weird? Y'all, does symmetry have 2 m's or 1? I think it's 2. No. I'm gonna look at the other notes. This is why I teach math, you see? The symmetric about the, it is 2 m's. Thanks for helping me out. Dead silent. Did y'all not know how to spell it either? Are y'all gonna be quiet like this, like when you come to school? Because that's gonna be so weird. Symmetry. Okay, for odd functions, where were they symmetric? What were they symmetric about or in, on? Think back. Look at
The
the
origin.
origin. Good. So this is the dude. Remember, odd is origin. You can like put O and O together. So it's like we're turning a doorknob. You turn it, rotate. So the symmetry for this dude, this is another word that you are going to probably fill in the blank and type on the test. Okay, again, just like with all your assignments and everything we've been doing, don't put spaces in. Make sure you spell stuff right. If the variable is an X, put in an X. If it's an in, put in an in. Okay, all those same rules from your assignments apply on here. All right. Next thing, we're still going to be, finish up this vocab real quick. Vocab continued. All right, we've got even functions. Let's think about the same thing for even functions. What was the algebraic definition? So if I put in a negative X for odd functions, that changed all of the signs. But whenever we were proving it algebraically for the even functions, when you put in a negative X, what happened? Did you change signs, change some signs, or change no signs?
No, sir.
Who said that? No signs.
Me.
You're right. Okay, so basically on those, that was these examples that we did towards the last half of this thing. Where are they at? That was these examples, remember? So no matter what, if I'm asking you, is it odd or even or neither, and all I give you is this equation, that's where you're gonna plug in a negative X, then you simplify. If the equation is the same, so no changes, what kind of a function do you have? Even, odd, or neither?
Even.
Perfect. If you change all of the signs, then you have
Not.
good. And if you only change like some of the signs,
Neither.
what happens? That's neither. Yeah, see, that was like the easiest lesson. So, right here. So for even, your algebraic definition that you need to know is if we plug in, I was using blue, if I plug in a negative X, it's not going to change my function. My function is going to still just be f of X. So that's the algebraic definition. Now, if we're talking about its symmetry, do you guys remember how the even functions are symmetric? What are they symmetric over?
The y-axis.
Perfect. Okay, so those may pop up in fill in the blank questions on the quiz. So I just want to make sure those are fresh on your mind. And then, let me add the one more thing. So for even, this will be no change. So if you're proving it algebraically, you're going to get the same exact equation you started with. Whereas on our odd functions, all signs change. Okay, those are just little helpful, hopefully helpful hints for y'all. And then again, if you just see some signs change, then what would you fill in that blank? That function would be what?
Neither.
Neither. Good. Okay. I'm killing you with boredness already. I'll move on. Was that all of them? Parent functions, odd and even. I feel like I said one more. We talked about domain. Let me look at the list and make sure I didn't forget something. I don't need that. Oh, the transformations. Let's go over that again real quick because those are simple. And I think I put I think there's 2 transformation questions. Y'all remember transformations? That was like our second topic we covered. So I'll put that in here. We're kind of with this vocab. Not pink. So for transformations, this is on both of the questions on the quiz. What I did was put the equation, I think. There might be one that has a graph now that I'm thinking about it. But either way, if I give you the equation, remember this was that notes page that I uploaded for y'all, where it would say something like this. You'd have A, and then it would be parentheses. You've got F of, and it's F of X, but you would have possibly a B right here, and then X. So I said X and I put A. X plus A, not A, that's C in there. I already wrote my A. Sorry, guys. C, and then it's, close all those parentheses. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't need the first one. And then, does anybody remember what the last letter was, always at the end of the equation? This is going back a couple of weeks now.
D.
What letter? D, yeah, I mean, it's ABCD, you know. So all y'all got to remember is what each of those does, and then these questions are going to be super duper easy for you. Okay, so A out in the front. If you're not sure, open up your Schoology real quick, pull up these notes. Tell me any of them, in fact, if y'all can figure it out. What did the A do, B, C, and the D? If you know one, tell me the letter and tell me what it does. So this is transformation. It's going to be shifting it up or down, left or right, stretching it vertically or compressing it vertically, and then stretching horizontally or compressing horizontally. So if you know one, holler. If you need to talk about it or look it up, I'll give y'all 2 minutes. Look it up.
D. I know D.
You know which one?
I know D.
D. Okay. Which one? What does it do?
Goes up
Good or?
or down if it's negative.
Perfect, perfect. So it's a number at the end, right? It's not going to be in parentheses, y'all. Make sure you know that. This one is your constant. And if it is a plus, that means you're going up. If it is a negative, then that means you're going down. Very simple, okay? So somebody else, tell me A, B, or C.
The A stretches or compresses it, the other thing.
Good, it is a stretch or a compression, but you got to tell me if it's horizontal or vertical.
Vertical.
Very good, okay? So this is a vertical stretch. Let me give this a little more space because we have to think about one other thing too, actually. So it is a vertical stretch. Now, it's a stretch going up like that, right? What kind of number was it? Does anybody remember that part? Like, would it be a positive negative situation, or is it a big number versus a fraction, small number? Which one
Fraction.
stretches it?
Fraction. I don't know. I forgot.
Can anybody help?
Fraction decreases.
Fraction would be the one that makes it go the opposite way. So that would be where we pull in that word compression. So for a vertical compression, that's when A is less than 1. Okay, so that's what we're talking about, decimals or fractions. So if it's a vertical stretch, now you're growing, you're getting bigger, then that one's gonna be a bigger number. So A's gotta be greater than 1, okay? That makes sense? Remember, A matches, and then the B and C are the ones that do kind of the opposite of what A and D are doing, okay? So A, vertical stretch, if it's a big number, it'll be right in the front of the function. Squish or compression, if it's a small number like a fraction. The last thing was, what happens if A is negative?
It
We
flips
use
the
the
graph.
parabola for that one.
Is it
Sorry,
inverse?
we all talked about it at the same time. So if I change it from a positive number to a negative number in the very front of the function, how does it transform it? What would it do to it?
It will
Think
flip
about it.
upside down.
Yes, excellent. So if A is negative, that doesn't have anything to do with the number, okay? You ignore that. What the negative is doing solely is reflecting. Okay? It doesn't matter if it was a negative 0.1 or a negative 100. All the negative is doing is taking the function and flipping it, okay? The numbers themselves, you look at them with absolute value bars. Remember that was on your notes page? That means it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. If the number is a whole number, then it's a stretch. If it's a decimal or a fraction, it's a compression. Do y'all get what I mean? The negative is specifically for reflection, okay? Let's, anybody look up B or C yet?
C, it's left to right. If it's positive, it goes left, and if it's negative, it goes right.
Excellent. Positive moves to the left, and negative will move you to the right. So remember, even when we're thinking about it, right, we know whenever we're graphing stuff that this is actually positive x values and this is negative x values. But because it's grouped inside the parentheses, it's going to do the opposite of what you would expect. So that's one other thing to note about C. If it's one of those questions where you're looking at the equation, you'll know that it is a C value and not a D value because it will be grouped with C. So that means it'll be inside parentheses, inside absolute value bars, underneath the square root symbol, anything like that. If it's grouped with the X, held with it somehow, then that means it's C. If it's at the very end of the function, no parentheses, no absolute value bars, not underneath radical, then that's how you know that it is the D value moving it up or down, okay? Our last one is B. And B is literally just like A, but it's opposite. So instead of being vertical, what would B do?
Horizontal.
Horizontal. Okay. And then remember, that means we have to change the associations with the numbers as well. Okay. So when A was big, it was a stretch. So that means when B is big, it will be the opposite. Okay. So if B is greater than 1, it's not going to stretch it. What's it going to do?
Compress it.
Compress it, exactly. If you can remember what A is, just do the opposite for B. So what was I writing right there? Compression. Oh, that's greater than 1. I'm sorry. Compression. And then, so obviously if B is less than 1, we're talking about a fraction, then that means it's going to stretch it out. All right, and I will go ahead and give y'all an actual example of one of these so we can make sure you know how to use it, okay? So I'm going to just make a little sketch. But does anybody have any questions over those? Y'all kind of remember, A in the front, stretching up or down vertically. If it's negative, it's flipping it. B stretches in or out. So that's horizontal, opposite than A, okay? C is going to be grouped with X. It'll move it left or right, and it is the opposite of the sign. So positive actually goes to the left, negative actually goes to the right. And then D, the number at the very, very end, not involved with anybody. It's going to be hanging out by itself, no variable, no nothing, the constant. D moves up if it's positive, down if it's negative. That's the quick recap. Okay, an example like what you'll have on the test. Let's say, describe the transformations from the parent. That was hideous. All right, now again, y'all remember what we said parent function means? It was a function that didn't have, oh, I'm about to give it away again. Jacob was the only one that remembered. Does somebody else remember?
No changes.
No changes, excellent. Okay, so if it's got no changes, that means those were the equations that were really simple, like y equals x squared. No numbers involved, right? So it's just a parabola. So then if I give y'all one that looks like this, let's say you've got f of x is equal to, I'm going to say, let me do the square root of 2x minus 3 plus 5. Okay? What would be my parent function here? Do you guys know? What's the parent function? So if you stripped away all of the numbers and you just left the x and the symbol, what would it be? Take away the numbers. So what would you have left if you took out the numbers?
The square root.
Very good. That's all it is. So my parent function would be y equals the square root of x. So basically, if you're looking at that equation, and then you're looking at the one that you're given, everything that's been added to the parent function that's just the square root of x is making a transformation, okay? You just have to identify A, B, C, D, okay? Who can tell me what the 2 is? Is it A, B, C, or D?
That's the B.
The 2? Say it, D as in dog or B as in boy?
Boy.
Very good. Okay. So this is B. What is that 3? That minus 3?
C.
C, how do you know it's C?
It's in the parentheses with the X.
It's in the parentheses with the X. And if that 2 hadn't have been there, we wouldn't need the parentheses, but it would still be under the square root symbol. So either way, it's grouped with X. Very good. So that makes this 5 at the end is obviously what?
D.
D.
Perfect. Okay. So what these look like on the test is multiple choice, just like it was on the last little quiz. And so it's just going to be like, okay, here's the equation. And then I'm going to have them listed. So you'll just tell me, okay, is B dealing with horizontal or vertical?
Horizontally.
Very good. Horizontal. And it's a big number. So it does the opposite than what a big number for A would do. So this is a horizontal what?
Compression.
Very good. Horizontal compression. Okay. Then that C, the minus 3, is telling me I'm going to go which direction?
The right.
To the right. And by how much?
3 times.
Good. Okay. So this, I'm just trying to write it like it looks so y'all know on your quiz. Last part, D is telling us we're going how much in what direction?
Five up.
5 up, good. Sorry, that took me a second to process what you said. Very, very good. So on the quiz, it'll look like that. And like this will be one choice and you would just bubble it in. Okay? Y'all good on everything so far? And we
Yes.
already covered like half the quiz. Okay? Let me look at my notes to make sure I don't forget anything here. Oh, we need to do the inverse ones and the composition ones. And that'll do it. Inverse and composition. Okay. So we'll do composition first because that's the one we did the longest ago. And I think you've got to do 2 of these on the quiz. So let's review composition. Does anybody remember just like the basic idea of what composition meant? How many functions are probably involved?
2.
2, at least 2. You couldn't do 3, which I think I might have done to you on the quiz. So I will give you an example of that. So composition, though, that means you're composing 2 functions, at least 2. So you're putting them together, kind of. One example would be if I asked you guys to find something like g of f of x, okay? Remember, there's 2 different ways you can write it. That's an open circle in there. It's not goth or fog or whatever. That's not an O. It's a little open circle. So if I ask y'all to find g of f of x, this lesson was equally confusing for y'all, just like the inverses one. But I'm not giving you a number here, right? I'm going to give you the 2 functions. Like I'll say f of x is, I want to make it similar to what I did to you on the quiz. So let's do this. We'll say it's x squared plus 2x. And then we're going to say that g of x Did I do that backwards? Well, we're about to find out. Let's say g of x is just x plus 1, okay? So I want you to find g of f of x. The only numbers that we've got right now are the ones that are in the functions, right? So for me, what I'm trying to get at is when you do this composition, is your answer going to be an expression with x's still in it? Or is your answer going to be a number, like just 10 or something?
It's gonna be the x. It's gonna be x.
Yeah. Because there's no number. I didn't give you a number to put in, right? So you can't give me a number at the end. And like the only reason I want to make sure and make that point is because I got a lot of numbers in these assignments where I'm like, how are you doing that? And I don't have any idea how y'all did it. Or not y'all, but I mean, in general, whoever's listening and all that. So for these, if it's not a number inside the parentheses, then your answer must still be an expression. An expression means that it's got x's in it and plus and minus and numbers, okay? Now, if I had said find g of f of 5, then yes, your answer should be just a regular number because you just don't plug it all in, okay? So for this one, we're doing g of f of x. That literally means find g of f of x. I'm going to plug f of x into g of x, okay? Inside function goes into the outside function. What is my f of x equal to?
X squared plus 2x.
Good. So I'm seriously going to take this whole thing and put it in for that x, okay? That's all you're doing is plug it in for that x, keep everything else the same in g of x, and then simplify, okay? So whenever we do that work, I'm really doing g of x squared plus 2x G says that it's just x plus 1, okay? But instead of having x, I'm putting in x squared plus 2x. Okay, that is that x right there. And then bring down whatever else you had in the equation. So what else do I need to still bring down? What else is in G?
Plus 1.
Yeah. I just replaced the x with the function f of x, and then I still got to bring down the plus 1 at the end. Okay, so that's the plugging in part. And then the composition is, clean it up, simplify. Y'all look at it. Can we clean it up or simplify?
No.
No. Okay, it's already, this is an x squared and a 2x. You can't put those together because their exponents don't match. And then the 1 is a constant where the other terms have an x. So it's just, you're done. This would be it. So this is what you would fill in your answer. Remember on these, the directions are going to tell you no spaces, no parentheses. It'll say standard form. Standard form, that seemed to lose a couple of y'all, but that's from like algebra and algebra 2. Standard form just means simplified, obviously, and then putting the exponents in decreasing order. So we've got x squared, then x, and then no x. It's just biggest to smallest on the exponents. So whenever you go to type this one in, if it is, I think this one is fill in the blank, for Schoology, for your quiz, make sure you guys type like this. It's going to be x, and then you use that little, I call it a caret. I don't know, that little triangle looking thing, right? Squared. Plus 2x plus 1. No parentheses needed, no spaces. Just type it in there. Move on with your life. Any questions over composition? Like one function into the other. I'm going to give you all another example of this because there's another kind. Any questions on this one?
No, ma'am.
I'm lost, man.
No.
Cool.
We can
All right. The other, what? I'm gonna look at y'all for a minute. Have y'all been typing in that chat and making fun of me and stuff? Whoa, there's a lot of y'all today. Cool. Okay. There's nothing in the chat. I'm checking on y'all fools. All right, the other composition I give you, and I think I was quasi-mean, but not like entirely, okay? It's got 3 functions, but it's not gonna be difficult. I forgot what I was spelling. Composition. Okay, find, so for this one, this is how the types are different. I want you to find, let's say, f of h of g of -1, okay? So y'all see how there's gonna be 3 functions there? We got f, h, and g. I'm gonna make those up real quick. What did I do on the test? What did I do on the test? FHG, FHG, yeah. Okay, so we'll do this one as a quadratic. So we're gonna say f of x equals 5 minus 1/2 x squared. Then g of x, speak up when you see it, but tell me what kind of a function this one is. F is obviously quadratic because it's got a square or to the power of 2. G of x is going to be something like this. That's a 3. That looks absolutely terrible. Let me rewrite that. So it is negative. What kind of function is that?
Absolute.
Absolute.
Yeah, absolute value. Okay, y'all notice there's a negative sign in front of it. So since that negative sign is not inside the absolute value bars, it's going to stay in front. Okay, that's the tricky part about this one, or one of the tricky parts. And then we're going to put that h of x is, how long have I been talking to y'all? 45 minutes. Okay, we got about 5 more minutes if y'all can hang tough, and then we'll be out of here. H of x, what did I do? Oh, that was a simple one. So we'll just say like 2x minus 4. Okay? Now, the trick to this one is just don't get lost. Does any one of y'all remember how we start these? I'm going to give you time to think, because I know it's been a minute.
Plug in.
We do plug in, but I got 3 functions. Who should we plug into first?
The inner one.
Yes. So like this is literally how I work these problems too. Like there's not, I mean, you can make some weird, crazy composition function, but I just start right here, inside. That's the first thing I'm going to do. So that means all I have to look at right now is plugging a -1 into the g function. Cool? So step 1, g of -1 is going to be, and then what happens is, the only thing I'm changing in g of x will be the x. Instead of an x, I'm putting in a -1. So that means the negative sign in front is still there. Absolute value bars are still there. 3 is still there, okay? But instead of x, I put -1. Cool? Now y'all do that math. And on your quiz, you can use a calculator. What is the the opposite of the absolute value of 3 times -1?
+3.
Y'all agree or disagree? He said +3. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
For the whole final answer.
Oh, it's -3.
-3. Okay. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Yes. Y'all are awesome. And that's all because of that dude right there. He's being the tricky one, right? Because what would happen? I end up with the opposite of the absolute value of -3, right? Because 3 times -1 is -3. When you take the absolute value of a negative number, it becomes positive. So this whole dude here is 3, but then we still got the negative on the outside. So final answer here is -3. Okay? Step 2. What function should we go to?
The h.
To h, because it is the next one on the inside. Okay? And I'm going to do h of, what should we plug in?
The -3.
Good. So you start from the inside, work your way out, and whatever answer you got from the inside, you put it into the next function. Okay? So that's all we're doing here, guys. We got the first part done. That's a -3. So now I'm going to take the -3, plug it into the next function. So h of -3, -3, that's 2. The -3 will go right there. Do that math in your brains or calculators. Tell me what you get.
-10.
Yeah, 2 times -3 is -6. -6 minus 4, they're both negative, add them up, keep the sign, gives you -10. All right, we still have one more step. What do we have to do? What function did we not mess with yet?
F.
F.
Yeah. So that'll be your last step. Y'all go ahead and give that one a try. What are you going to plug into F?
-10.
Yep. And that, I mean, so it's literally take the answer from the one previous, plug it into the next function, rock and roll. Take a minute or so. I will work it out so we have it for the video, but take a minute, see what y'all get. It will be a large number because you're about to square -10, and -10 squared is large. I'm watching my clock. I'll give you 45 more seconds. No, I'm a lot. No, yeah, don't worry. Just try it. And then I'll work it and we'll see if you get the same thing I got. 30 seconds. I forgot I was one keeping time. 3, 2, 1. Okay, here's what I would do. Follow along on what you wrote down and see if you do the same thing. If you're going by hand, you got to remember order of operations. If you're going by the calculator, then you shouldn't have screwed it up, hopefully. So the first thing that I would do here in PEMDAS is exponents, -10 squared. That's -10 times -10, that's 100. Now 100 times a -1/2 means basically divide 100 by 2 or a -2. So that would be, I would have -50 right there. So this is what I've got. Okay. The 50 is bigger, so subtract the numbers, take the sign of the bigger number. 50 minus 5 is 45, and it'd be negative. Anybody get the same thing as me?
Yes.
Really? If y'all were here, I would give you circle stickers. I actually do have stickers. Smiley faces and Spider-Man. Okay, so there's one question like that, one question like that. All right, so we understand the difference. No number plugged in, then you're going to give me one of those expressions for your answer. If there is a number to plug in, a little bit tedious, but like I said, use your calculator or whatever, and just work through all of the functions. I'm going to double check the quiz real quick, make sure I'm not springing anything on y'all. And then unless y'all got a question, that's all I got for you today. Don't leave yet, because if you're still in here, I'm going to give you +5 on your test, quiz, whatever. I got composition we did, plug in, even, odd, or neither. There's vocab. I forgot what this guy is. Oh, we got to do the find the inverse one. My bad. I did forget about that. One more example, if you can handle it. I forgot about finding inverse. And this would be the last one. So find the inverse, let's say given, what did I put? Yeah, it was one like that one. Okay, so let's say you have g of x is equal to, let me make it not terrible. How about negative 1/3 x? Just because it's a fraction doesn't mean it's terrible. Negative 1/3 x plus 6. We'll do that. Okay. And then my question is, tell me what is its inverse? So that we haven't done for a minute. Do you guys remember there was only 2 steps that you have to do here? How do you find an inverse? What is ringing? What's that mean? Let me see this. 2 steps. Think.
Solve x with y.
Very good. Step 1, swap x and y. And then step 2.
You solve for y.
Awesome. All right, so remember, we don't see a y. It's just whatever your of x part is. So this dude, g of x, that's really my y. Okay, so I'm going to change those spots real quick. So it will be x equals negative 1/3 times y. And then still plus 6. Okay, now I want to get that y by itself. I'm trying to solve for it. So what would you guys do first? You're staring at your quiz right now. You're like, what the heck? And then what do you do?
Minus 6.
Very good. Minus 6 over here because it makes it cancel out. Remember, this is when you're finding an inverse, you're using inverses. So if you got plus, you're going to use minus. If I do it to one side of the equation, I'll do it to the other. Bring this down. So now I got x minus 6 equals negative 1/3 times y. What's next?
You
Multiply.
Multiply by what?
tres.
What'd you say? Trace? I'm gonna
Tres.
start speaking German for y'all. Okay, because that's the only language I know. So basically, if you got a fraction that's being multiplied by your y, I did mention this in one of these videos that I've attempted to make. You can multiply by the reciprocal of the fraction. Remember, that's taking the fraction and just flipping it. In this case, since when we flip it, it would be a 1 on the bottom. It doesn't really matter. You can just multiply by 3. So I'm going to do that on both sides. What kind of a 3 do you guys think that I should multiply by?
Negative 3.
Yeah, because at the end of this, we don't want negative y. We want positive y. So I'm going to multiply by negative 3. And again, this was what I was saying if I said that too quickly. When I'm multiplying by a fraction, like in the equation, it's negative 1/3 times y. I would multiply by the reciprocal because that's going to make this dude cancel, right? And then I just have y left, which is what I want. Now, when I bring that over here, it just looks a little bit silly because I'm going to do negative 3 over 1 times x. Well, we're not going to write that as negative 3x over 1. You know what I'm saying? So like on this side, you don't need that 1 there. Negative 3 over 1 is just negative 3. So that's all that you really have to write when you're doing your steps. If the denominator was 1. Now on this side, really common mistake would be to not distribute. So just make sure you guys take your time a little bit. Don't rush through it. So when we do negative 3 times x, that's going to give us negative 3x. Don't forget to bring your mirror as well. What is negative 3 times negative 6?
Positive 18.
Positive
What was
18.
that? Yeah, positive or negative?
Positive.
Yay! Okay, and now on this side, again, since we had a fraction and we cross it all out, it's just y. Okay, and I completely agree with y'all. I shouldn't have used that assignment from forever ago. You got me on camera, whatnot. But I am going back and giving y'all a bunch of credit on this assignment. So for this one, to type this in to Schoology is where everybody kept having issues. When y'all look at that one, does it need parentheses anywhere?
No.
No, okay? And I put it on the quiz again. The only time you've got to put parentheses around stuff is if it is grouped together. Like if you have a fraction that looks like this, I'm gonna just kind of write this off to the side because it won't show up on the notes. Like if I have something like x plus 1 over 5, that's where I need to put parentheses, okay? What would I need to put the parentheses around?
Where the x is.
Yeah. Good. Because there's addition happening in the numerator, I want those to stay together. Because when I type this into Schoology, it's going to look like this. That's the top of my fraction over the bottom of my fraction. Okay? And what happens whenever I'm keying this stuff, I have to write every single different scenario that y'all might accidentally type in there. It's nuts, man. So we're going to, anyhow, type it in like that. I tried to make these to where they won't be that messy. So like whenever you're typing this one in, this is literally exactly how you enter it into Schoology. I forgot how to spell it. That's like the third time in this one lesson. Awesome. So here you're going to put -3x plus 1, 8. That's it. Do not touch the space bar. Okay. I think I wrote a note about something else and I don't want to forget it. Definitions of odd and even we did. Plugging in we did. Composition. Oh, do you guys remember how to do composition to prove that two functions are inverses? Those were the questions that were just yes or no. Are they inverses, yes or no? Do y'all remember that?
No.
Or do you want to, like 2 more minutes? I can show you real fast. I think this might even be one of the fill in the blank questions that I did because I was trying to be nice to y'all. So it's something like this. To prove that they are inverses, this was another one of those things you're supposed to do algebraically where you use composition. So if you have f of x and g of x, you would have to prove that f of x, or sorry, no, composition. You would have to prove f of g of x would cancel out, everything cancels, and all that you get left is x, okay? And you had to do another step. Does anybody recall what the other step was? It's very similar to the first one. Come on, man. It's almost the same thing as the first one. Just flip it, switch it, pop it, twist it. Like pulling teeth, you see. Instead of f of g,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna be quiet and you're gonna talk.
I do not remember this.
Oh my gosh, okay.
So the X and Y.
I'm about to give up. Okay, we just kept talking at the same exact time, or at least the delay in the sound. It's this way. Now, when you do this, again, what I want to see is because they're inverses, everybody's opposites, everything cancels out, and all you end up with is x. Okay? So if there was like, what would be super duper easy? One like this. Let's say f of x is 2x, and g of x is x over 2. Can y'all tell that those are already inverses? If you can, tell me how.
You just flip them.
Yeah, I mean, I flipped it, but like, okay, what operation is happening in f of x?
Multiplication.
Multiplicative hypohypotenuse, yes, multiplication. What is happening in g?
Division.
Yeah, those are opposites of each other, so that's inverses already. Now, it's not going to be that easy on the quiz, but your composition is. So over here, you would do f of g of x, which means plug g of x into f of x, right? Well, that would be 2 times what? Plug g.
X divided by 2.
Yeah. Okay. Now, again, remember, we're proving that they're inverses. Inverses makes everything cancel out, and we want to see just x left. Do y'all see that that's what's going to happen here?
Yes.
I'm gonna, multiply by 2, divide by 2, boom, they're gone. All that's left is x. So that checks out. Now, you got to do the same thing on the other side, though, or the other way. So you got to also do g of f of x, and you just want to see that, again, everything canceled out, okay? So for g of f of x, you're plugging f of x into g of x. So instead of just being x over 2, it's 2x over 2. And I mean, like, it's staring you in the face. The 2's cancel, you get x. So whenever you do the composition, everything's canceling out because they're opposites. That's the idea here. Remember, inverse is a fancy word for opposites. Okay? I think that's it. When I make y'all's review, I'll make it 5 questions, and I'm going to do that right now and upload this video. They'll both be in there. Complete those, because I'm probably going to wait an hour or 2 because I want y'all to study before you take your test, which y'all just did. But so let's say by 2:30, I'll have the quiz up. Okay? And you do have until tomorrow to get it done. Y'all got any questions?
Post it right now before I forget everything.
No, don't work like that. You're going to have this video right there. You know, all 12 of y'all, it does save the chat. So y'all will all get +5 on your test. So even if you get 100 on this quiz, you'll get 105, and that'll be cool. You are only going to get 1 attempt, okay? And it is going to be timed, but if you get kicked out of it or something, you'll be able to go back in, but it's going to bring you right back to where you left off. That makes sense? And it's going to pick up from the time, wherever you were at. If you had used, 12 minutes, then you use 12 minutes, that 12 is gone. But if you, like, I don't know, your Wi-Fi dies in the middle of it or whatever, then you'll be able to resume it, is what I'm saying. Okay? Hey, Sus, I've been talking, I'm like starting to recognize y'all's names. I'm proud of you guys. Anybody got anything for me?
I need a little bit of help on the first example you did on composition.
Okay. Yeah, that was the one. I can do another one of those. If you're good, y'all can roll, because since it's recorded, I think I should see your names in there. No, don't leave yet. Let me take a picture of it. It makes me nervous, and I'm forgetful. And I already told y'all, some of y'all are getting used to hearing that. So if I forget to put +5 on your quiz grade, this will be quiz number 2. Be like, yo, Miss Pickle, you forgot. Don't be mean to me. Just remind me. I forget all the time. Okay, let me take a picture of it with my phone. It's definitely getting cut off. Why is that happening? Do like that. Okay. I wonder if this will get people to start coming to the meetings if they realize I keep giving y'all all these points. All right, we good? Everybody?
Yeah.
If you don't need that composition, if you need more help, I'm gonna do another composition, and anything else anybody wants. But if you're good, let me finish with them, and then I'll put your review up, and then 2:30 the quiz will be up. You'll have until midnight tomorrow, 11:59 tomorrow night to get it done.
Do you know how long the quiz is?
I do, because I made it. 10 questions. Most of them are fill in the blank. There's a couple multiple choice. Like the odd, even, neither. Those are all like just like the assignment. It literally gives you those 3 choices. You click it.
Okay, I meant like the time.
Oh, I'll give you an hour. I'll always give y'all an hour. I mean, the last quiz was shorter, so I didn't. I gave you 50 minutes. This time, it is one time though. Don't get in there if you ain't ready to take it. One shot, but it will be resumable. But again, the time doesn't stop. So like, y'all get that, right?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye, Miss Pickle.
Yeah, just later, I'm gonna do the one more example of composition, unless anybody else needs anything. If you don't, then roll on. I got your names, so I'll add your points. Somebody gonna have to email me about adding those points. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna forget. And it's not because I'm mean, it's just because I forget. Okay, that was Kevin, right?
Yeah.
Kev, you got an example of one? Like, can you remember kind of what the
I mean,
equation looked like? Or
the one that you just did, like the first one.
that first one? I'll just do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it again. Oh, the one where we plugged in the number? Or no, proving inverses.
The one before that.
That guy?
It's not
Plugging the
3.
number in?
It's not 3 functions. It's 2 only. It's the very first example.
That guy. Yeah? Okay, I can do another one of those. So we're gonna come up with two. Ooh, that's good. We're gonna come up
Miss,
with
sharing
two.
your screen.
Oh, did I stop? I stopped sharing, yo. Thank you. I'm retarded. That's right, because I was talking to y'all's first letters of your names. Click on that. Share. Getting there. Good? Yes?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, composition. This is so much better than writing on my phone. I just am so happy. It's awesome. Okay, composition. Let's make it, I'm gonna try to make it even more similar to the one that's on the quiz. Because I mean, you can, it's not like I can stop y'all from using notes. So if you're writing stuff down right now, use it on your quiz. Okay, it's gonna be like this. So let's say if your g of x is 2x squared minus, oh, I don't want to put that, let's say minus x, and h of x will be an easy one. Oh, I'm out of practice on this thing. H of x is going to be like negative 5x plus 2. Okay? So you've got two functions. And then the question says, compose them. Find, which way does it go? Okay. G of h of x. So this is what it looks like. This is going to be a type it in to Schoology thing, not multiple choice. Be careful. And yes, of course, I'll go back and look. And if it's just something stupid, then I'll give you credit back. But if it's not mathematically equivalent, God bless, then I'm not going to give you credit because that tells me you don't know. Okay? Just be real careful how you type it. And I will show y'all how to type it. Everybody ready? I don't know if you're working it on like last week. So. Okay, what function is getting plugged into the other one? That's the first thing you got to figure out.
H goes to G. I think.
Very good. So this literally means this whole entire expression, which is what? What is the expression for h of x? See how many reminders I have set for myself? Don't forget to take attendance. Okay. What is h of x equal to?
Negative 5x plus 2.
Sweet. Now I'm going to take that negative 5x and I'm going to plug it into g, where?
In the x.
Yeah, how many x's does g have?
2.
Yup, so you're going to go here and here.
Oh,
okay, so both of those spots, we're replacing the x with negative 5x plus 2, okay?
Oh.
So instead of just being able to plug in a nice simple number, that's what makes these more difficult because you got to plug in a whole expression. Okay, so we're working with g. So it is really my solution or whatnot. It is g of, and what we're plugging in, negative 5x plus 2. Okay? So g starts with a 2. I'm going to keep that 2. The only thing I'm changing is those x's. I see an x next. Instead of x, I am putting in everything in the parentheses. Okay? So it'll be 2 times negative 5x plus 2. And that dude is squared because it said so in g of x. Okay? Then I have that minus sign. Keep the minus sign. After the minus sign is an x. But what are we taking instead of x? We're plugging in what?
The same.
Yeah, same expression. We're plugging in that h of x, negative 5x plus 2. All right, so if you can get the substitution like even written out correctly, now it's just all algebra 1 stuff. All you do from this point on is simplify, okay? But we do have to remember how to simplify. And I think that sometimes we forget like the really easy stuff. Like whenever you're looking at this to simplify, you're looking at this side right now, all of this, okay? Where do you think we should start? What do we need to do first? Anybody that's there? I don't know how many of y'all are left. But any ideas? Or if you literally don't have an idea where to start, just tell me. It's PEMDAS. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So what should we do?
The parentheses first.
Okay, but whenever I look inside the parentheses, I can't do anything, right? Because it's a negative 5x and a 2. So I can't do anything with them. So what comes after parentheses?
Exponent.
Yeah, this is like 5th grade, y'all. So here's where everybody messes up. And tell me honestly if this is what you were going to do. So you're looking at it, you're like, okay, I got to do negative 5x squared. So that's 25x. And then 2 squared is 4. How many of y'all were going to do that? Like, even if you don't want to tell me, secretly admit to yourself that you are wrong. Okay? Because does anybody know why that would be wrong? I mean, it's wrong on all kinds of levels. But
I don't know.
what are we doing when we square something?
You're doubling it? Or no, not doubling it.
I mean, I get where you're going with that, though. You're taking whatever it is and multiplying it
By
times itself. Yeah? So what's different about this is that's negative 5x plus 2 in parentheses. So that means, yeah, the whole set of parentheses is getting multiplied by itself. So this guy actually is kind of tedious. But y'all are seniors and I am over it. You can do it. Okay? So you guys have to use FOIL on this problem. Who remembers that, dude? Anybody?
I heard about it, but I forgot about it.
Same.
Dude, what the heck? He's like the coolest guy. Okay, well, I'm just kidding. It's been a long day. I need to move it over a little bit. I don't have enough space. So FOIL is like basically it's distribution. You just got to distribute the first term over twice and the second term over twice. First, outside, inside, last. On the pin. Okay, so that 2 in the front still coming down. And what I'm doing is just rewriting this negative 5x plus 2 squared literally means negative 5x plus 2 times negative 5x plus 2. Okay, and then minus negative 5x plus 2. So that's what this truly means. But I mean, that squaring each term thing, it happens all the time. Y'all gotta stop. Don't do that. Okay, and then now we're gonna do FOIL real quick. So I start first term, that's the F. What is negative 5x times negative 5x?
Plus 25.
25 what? X times x is?
Positive x. I mean 25x. All right.
We missing
X
something.
squared.
Yeah, there we go. I left it off on purpose on the orange part because y'all would have, or whoever makes the mistake with it. Next, so the negative 5x got multiplied by the negative 5x, but now it has to also get multiplied by that 2, okay? So what is negative 5x times 2?
Negative 10x.
Yes, okay? So that was the first term times both of those. Now I'm going to do the second term times both of those. So we're looking here, 2 times negative 5x.
No, you were asking for negative 10.
I am, man, because I know it.
Negative 10x.
Yes, great. And what's the last thing we got to multiply? 2 times what?
2.
Yep, 2 times 2 is
Oh.
good. Okay, now be careful here. All of that was multiplied out, but what is still in front of all of that?
A 2.
Yeah, keep him there. And down here, you got to do this minus, and you got those guys back there, which I'm going to write them in blue because We have to multiply them by something as well. Ooh, no. This was way longer, but it's because y'all are quiet and shy, so I'm blaming it on you. All right, what would you do now? And move along if you want to get to go. What would you do right now?
You distribute the 2.
You could distribute the 2, but first I would clean up the inside of those parentheses. Because like right here, we could group these 2 guys together, right? So what is that really?
-20.
Yeah, negative 20x. So group them together, now multiply by 2, so you're not having to multiply more than, necessary. So right here, you got 2 times 25x squared, so how many x squareds are we gonna have? 2 times 25.
You lost me too.
2 times 25 and I lost y'all?
Not when you say square.
Well, because 2 times 25x squared. The x squared is still gonna be there.
Okay.
I was just,
It's 50.
my bad. I talk too fast sometimes. I'm sorry.
It's 50.
That is 50. So we got 50x squared. Next. Did I get it? No. We got to do 2 times the negative 20x. So what does that give us?
Negative 40x.
Excellent. And last, don't forget 2 times 4.
8.
8. And that one will be positive. Now back here, do you guys remember this one? I've got minus and then a set of parentheses. So that is almost the same as saying you're multiplying by a negative 1, which is just changing the signs on the stuff inside, okay? So like right here, it's negative 1 times negative 5. What's that going to be?
Positive 5x.
Excellent. And then the other one is, x. The other one is a negative 1 times a positive 2. What will that give you?
-2.
Yep. So this one is really involved. This might be the longest one on the test. Okay, but you are almost there.
So
What's
this
left to
is
do there? Yeah, there's one just like this on the test.
Damn, thank God I asked for help because I was not gonna do this.
Dude, y'all, this is algebra 1, man. Y'all gotta put on your big boy and big girl pants. This is algebra 1.
like 6 months, miss.
No, I know. Straight up. I was never so happy to be in this classroom. I can't even play.
So now you group all the similar figures?
Yeah, exactly. Combine like terms. So, and then it's gonna say standard form, and that was what I mentioned earlier. Standard form is just make sure you start with the biggest exponent and go down. So our biggest exponent is x squared. We've got this 50x squared in the front. Do y'all see any other x squareds?
No, man.
Oh, is it 1? Okay, we gotta hurry because I gotta take attendance and I got another meeting and I'm not ready for it. Ooh, y'all. Okay, so we got 50x squared. I'm gonna go through this quick. I got negative 40x right here, and I got 5x there. Negative 40 positive 5 makes negative 35x. And then I've got 8 minus 2. That will give me 6. Easy peasy, right? That's what you'll have to type into Schoology. Do not put any parentheses. Should you put spaces around the plus sign?
No.
No, at this point, y'all, seriously, we're 5 weeks in. If y'all can't type it in there the way that I've been telling you to type it, I ain't playing with you. And I'm lying because I'll probably give you partial credit. It's nice, but for real, don't just type it just like that. Except for the x squared part, remember you go like this, x and then that little thingy, whatever, and no spaces, just x, that deal, and 2, okay?
All right, bet.
All right, so I'm gonna do attendance first now, or I'm gonna get in trouble with Dr. Smothers. I'm gonna do attendance, then I'll get your review posted, and then good luck at 2:30. The quiz will be available. If y'all need anything, message me and I'll try to get back to you as quick as possible. The quiz is timed 1 hour, 1 attempt, but if you get kicked out, like due to Wi-Fi crap or something, you can get back in, but your time will still be whatever you used up. Okay? All right. That was Bees Knees Fun. Later, y'all.
All right, bye. Thanks.
Thank you.
Absolutely. How do I stop recording? Why do I never remember? Yay.